Hello, hello, hello. We're in a different location today. I had already said we would be in different locations um, after the 21st because my son is out of school. We're moving around. We're going to travel a little bit, come back. So, anyway, hello. Welcome to Confessions of Being Fabulous with Priscilla Hawks, where we live, we learn, we grow. Today is day 23 23 of 31 days of gratitude. So excited to be here and to jump right in. This challenge has been really, really fulfilling for me because, as much as I've been encouraging you to step into a season of experiencing gratitude as a lifestyle, I have also challenged myself to do the same thing despite circumstances that um, are made, that may not be optimal circumstances that might suggest that my mood should be something other than grateful. But I've challenged myself to do exactly what I'm telling you to do. So, because of that, I'm excited. I'm coming here much, much later than I normally do. Our normal time is 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. ish. It's usually like 4:15, 4:30, something like that. But today I had a lot of work to do, so I had to keep going. I didn't want to interrupt my thought. And so here we are. It's 6:41 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But anyway, give a quick recap. All of the days so far, if you are tuning in for the first time, you can go back and watch. This is day 23, but we've recorded live days 1 through 22 on, different ideas as it relates to gratitude. So the first day we talked about people we're grateful for. The second day we talked about things we're grateful for. The third through maybe the fifth day we talked about what I call gratitude blockers. And I talked about certain things that might make it difficult for you to feel grateful or to express gratitude. One of those things being um, if you find that you're not forgiving somebody and like holding on to that. We had a holiday party that we went to where we set up what was called the gratitude corner, and people came over and they had words. Um, Daddy. Okay. Hi, Daddy. This is not my daddy, but that's literally the name, Daddy. Hi. And so after that holiday party, we had a few guests. We went to another event where that was a holiday party, and it was just great. We have people today. Hi, Aaron. Hi, Beat It by Happy. Hi, Kurt P. Thank you very much, Kurt. Um, Thank you. Thank you very much. So, yeah, so we're here. So, go back if you haven't seen any of that. Basu said, boy, hello. If you haven't seen any of that, go back and see it. So, let's jump into today because I want to make this in and out. My son, he's been cooped in the house all day. They're out of school, but I had work to do. So, I've been in the house all day, which means he's been in the house all day. So, he's giving me the sad face like, can we get out of here? So I'm going to take him somewhere for a little bit and actually venture out into the craziness of the holiday shopping season and then come back home. But let's talk. So today, I sub. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Today, the challenge is really for you to listen to something I'm going to share as it relates to decision and then see where this lands with you. Maybe you'll rethink the way you make decisions. Maybe you'll rethink the idea of what a decision even is. But I wanted to share this today because sometimes when we're talking about gratitude as a lifestyle, it might be different. It might be difficult, to express gratitude as a lifestyle if we are maybe indecisive about things or if we find ourselves in a space where we want to make a decision, but we're kind of just like in a free state where we're not making a decision. And so today, what I wanted to offer is that whatever is happening right now, whatever is happening, the only thing stalling is a decision. Never think that the idea of, I want to go from here to over there, where there's some like magical thing in the sky that's going to pop in your head. And this coming from me is huge because I'm one of those people that believes in magical things in the sky. But I'm also very clear on the way things work. We as human beings in these human bodies, we're spirit, but we have flesh. This is flesh. And so we have been put in a position to think, to make decisions, to go about our way of doing whatever it is that we're going to do and let the chips fall where they may. So um, don't be everything is going to be okay. Hey, Mateo, I remember you from the other day. Yes, everything is going to be okay. Everything is going to be okay. But talking about decision, so the idea is to make a decision. So if you find yourself in a space of you want something to happen and you're like, I just don't know what to do or choose. And that might sound like I'm oversimplifying it, but I kind of want to oversimplify it because everything really is a matter of the decision. Now, you may have to do some thinking around this or that, this or that, or that or that. But ultimately, you're going to be choosing. Um, Alfreza. Hi, Alfreza. Sorry if I said that wrong. Thanks for being here. Everything is about a decision. And so, an example is I wanted to run the marathon for the first time in 2009. I had never run a marathon before. Now, in high school, I was a runner, but I was like a speed runner. I wasn't. I think I did do cross country one year, but we're still talking, even in cross country, at least at that time, because I might have been in like middle school or something. We're talking like a few miles, maybe 7 at the most, something like that. We're not talking a marathon, just for context, is 26.2 miles. So I was nothing. I was nothing like, a marathon runner, a distance runner. Um, you are. No, this isn't that. This is not an OnlyFans page. This is a YouTube channel, and that's it. But I was doing, I wanted to do this marathon, and I'm like, I don't really know how I'm going to go about it. I've never done one. And then finally, I realized I was being um, not indecisive about doing it. I was clear about doing it, but I was just kind of like, how can I do it? And then it hit me, are you doing it, Priscilla? Yes or no? So I answered yes. So once I made that decision, now I'm like, so what I'm going to do is just pick a tool and I'm going to stick with that tool. So I literally found a book called Run Less, Run. Yeah, I found a book called Run Less, Run Faster. I don't remember the author, but it's to this day, you could Google it, Run Less, Run Faster. And so that appealed to me because I'm like, yes, tell me how I can run less, but run faster so I could get to the finish line as quickly as possible. And the book literally broke down, what you should be doing in the beginning. I forget how long it suggested you should be training. I think it would have varied based on like your skill level, but I followed that. And so if the book said, because you're a beginner, start out by just walking for 12 minutes, I would go and walk for 12 minutes. If the book said, you're just getting started, so today I want you to run and then walk and then run and then walk, I would go run and then walk and run and walk. I did everything the book told me to do. And ultimately, long story short, I was able to successfully finish my first marathon. And I didn't finish at the score at the time that I wanted. I think I was shooting for, at the time, something in the 4 hour range, maybe 4 hours, maybe 4.5. I don't remember. But I ended up finishing at like 5 hours. And then I ran it a second time some years later, more recently. And I actually beat my first time from when I was 12 years younger. But I'm bringing those things up because each of those things required, before I could get into like the nitty gritty of the how and, which tool and, all of these things where I'm kind of caught in the weeds, I had to make a decision first. I'm going to run a marathon, period, sentence. You see what I'm saying? And then now, because I know I'm going to run a marathon, now it becomes relevant for me to talk about tools, training schedules, coaches. The second time I ran it, this time I'm like, oh, I know such and such is a trainer. Let me have him train me. And I had a coach that helped me with like, the mobility stretches and stuff like that, because it's really important to be mobile in your hips. Your hips will be tight if you have no mobility and you're trying to run 26.2 miles. So all of that stuff becomes relevant because I first made a decision. But if I have this thought about a marathon and then I'm jumping to, specifics around mobility exercises and, shoes, and I even go as far as to buy shoes, but I haven't even signed up for the race. I haven't even given the money needed to claim my spot. If I'm running for charity, I haven't signed the paper, committed to, raising money for this particular charity. I did that both times. I raised money one time for cancer research for kids, and then I think the second time for the American Heart Association. And there's a commitment that you make, and that commitment is basically how you secure your spot. And people like me have to do that because I don't have like all the speed like the Kenyans do. And they're just fast and they can probably, I'm being funny, obviously not all Kenyans, but there's certainly a gift that people have where they're able to run and run as fast as they need to run to get the qualifying time that enables them to just sign up for these races. And they don't have to raise money. But somebody like me, I need to raise money because I don't have the speed and all the other athletic ability. What grade did you run 7 miles? I feel like that might have been middle school, if I'm not mistaken. I know it was in high school because I didn't do cross country in high school. I did cross country, I think, in middle school or elementary school. So maybe somewhere between like maybe fifth, uh, fifth, sixth, or seventh, something like that. Um, where are you running 7 miles? And that example that I gave around running 7 miles, that was from back when I was a kid in school. And I only shared the story to share that I'm not like a marathoner, but I had this desire. So what I needed to do was to acknowledge for real, that I actually wanted to do this and then make a decision to do it. And so the way that I embodied that decision was by actually signing up for the marathon. And by signing up for the marathon, for me, that meant, working with a charity or whatever. And so this whole live is about when you sit in indecision, you don't make a decision, or you're indecisive, you now, sometimes I feel like people, they're in the weeds of things that are happening in life, but it's kind of like putting the cart before the horse. You haven't even made a decision yet. Like, how about you make a decision first? And then now that you've made a decision, now when you start talking about the weeds, as I like to call it, things can kind of just fall into place. Sometimes it'll figure itself out. Sometimes it won't figure itself out. You have to be intentional about figuring it out. But you can do all of that because you've made a decision. But if there's no decision, then you're just kind of left there, flailing from one end to the other. Um, and how all of this plays into gratitude, because this is 31 days of gratitude. I was making the point that sometimes it could be difficult to be grateful. It could be difficult to find yourself in a space where you're experiencing gratitude as a lifestyle if you have other things going on which you're undecided about, other things where you still haven't quite, figured out where you land. You haven't quite acknowledge this is what I'm going to do. And so sometimes that indecisiveness, that not knowing what I'm going to do, causes fatigue. It can cause mental fatigue. And so mental fatigue can make it where, well, you don't really feel grateful, because you're too tired to feel grateful because you're just aware of this decision that you haven't made. And I wish I could just do this, but then I wish that, man, I wish there's just all this wishing, but meanwhile, there's no decision being made. Ultimately, we're a collective of decisions. Spoiler alert, we're just a collective of decisions. So the quicker you can make decisions in your life and not sit in seats of indecisiveness, the better off, in my opinion, you will be. Because now you can find yourself in a space where if there is something to be grateful for, and I know that there is, even if it doesn't seem like it, you can actually experience that gratitude. You can live with that gratitude. You can, experience the fullness of it. And all of that is what this challenge is about, experiencing gratitude as a lifestyle. And so part of doing that is tending to other pieces of your life that you may think are irrelevant or have nothing to do with gratitude, but it all works together. And so that's what, if you go back to the days where we talked about gratitude blockers, that's what that was about. There were days when we went through one by one, like, if you're experiencing this, this might be a reason it's hard for you to feel grateful. And then we had a few days more recently where we talked about gratitude tools. And we talked about some of the tools, one of them being, making a list. And I know on my list, when I'm trying to get in the spirit of gratitude, I'm not being super anal about whether or not what I'm listing is actually true, because it's actually about the feeling that is generated as a result of me saying I'm grateful for it. So I'll say some things that are true, like I'm so happy and grateful for my son. Um, I'm so happy and grateful for, my mom and dad. They're great parents. I'm so happy and grateful for whatever the case may be. But I will also say something like, "Oh, I'm so happy and grateful for that new house that I just bought on such and such a corner." Like, it may be technically that hasn't happened yet, but I'll write it down anyway because it feels good. So when I get to the end of that list, I just feel on top of the world. And that feeling is what I am hoping that you guys will experience, because it's important. It's important to feel more often than not um, good feelings, productive feelings, feelings of positive energy, feelings of hopefulness. Whereas if you're feelings of abundance, whereas if you're feeling the opposite of that, if you're always feeling lack, if you're always feeling down, if you're always feeling depressed, it's just not it's not the kind of life that I believe is gonna allow for you to kind of experience things that you want to experience in the way you may want to experience them. Um, Me and my goddaughter shopping and watching you. Keep being great, beautiful. Thank you. I appreciate that. Um, I am, yeah, pretty much done talking for the day. That was it. I'm in here because I'm accompanied, I'll just say that, by my little one who's out of school, and he's kind of all over the place right now. And he's extremely bored because I work from home and I've been working, and I didn't even get on at 4 because I couldn't. So he is over me, ready to get out this house. I'm like, let me just come into this space alone and speak with you guys. But that's it. So hopefully that made sense. We talked about making a decision, the power of decision. That's it, the power of decision. Do yourself a favor. Go somewhere and decide. Just go somewhere and decide. Just look at all of this stuff. If you have a list of stuff where you've been indecisive and you've been trying to figure it out and you've been trying to work it out and you've been trying to pray it out, pray too, because don't sleep on prayer. But listen, sis, bruh, go somewhere and make a decision. I promise you, your life will forever change. Your life will forever change. And so I am not a therapist. I'm not licensed to do any of those things with the mind. I was asked that a few videos ago, so now I feel led to talk about that, and to kind of give that disclaimer. I'm not, because I realize I'm just on here giving advice. I got my chair posted up like I am a therapist. I'm not. I'm just a regular person that has experienced some things down through the years, and so because of that, these are methods and tools and things that I've used um, to kind of overcome. Um, and so, not to suggest that you have something to overcome, I never like to assume that everybody that watches these videos is coming from like a horrible, bad place. That's not the case, but sometimes we might just need a different perspective. Sometimes we might need a little extra help in something that we're going through. So, this is day 23. You now have 23 videos on gratitude to look at to help you work that out, sis. All right, so I'm gonna go because we have to jump and go to where we're going next. Lucas, Lu, Luakis, Lu. I'm sorry. From here, it looks like Lucas, but I feel like I'm seeing another word in front of that C. I hate putting my face in the camera. It's so embarrassing, but I got to figure out a way. I got to figure out a way to make the words bigger. Hi, Lucas, if that is the correct name. Oh, it's a French name. Nice. Well, thank you for being here. I hope I said it right. Lucass? Okay, yeah, that's what it says. The double S was throwing me off, and then I'm sitting back here, so I'm not as close as it might seem. Um, we'll figure it out. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. Tomorrow is going to be day 24 of 31 Days of Gratitude. And then we're going to go on out for the rest of the month. I'm so excited because the fact that we're even here at day 23, I feel like we just started this. We started on day 1, and that was the day I went to get my Christmas tree. And now here we are, day 23, about to be day 24, and it's about to be Christmas. Okay, that was the police, aka my son. I'll be out in a second. So that means it's time to go. But thank you guys for being here. Please come back tomorrow, day 24. I will be back closer to the normal time, 4 o'clock. Today was just a little crazy because of work. Everybody's trying to close stuff out before the end of the year. I'm an attorney by trade, so I look at contracts and documents and papers all day. And so sometimes there's a lot to wrap up when we get to this time of the year, the end of the year. But anyway, interesting. Why did the light just go off with no prompting whatsoever? All right. That's my cue. Thank you guys for being here. Thanks, Mateo, for being here. I appreciate seeing your name today because I know I saw you before. So thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Kevin, for being here and for sharing with your goddaughter. I hope you guys have fun on the shopping trip. And that's it. I wish you lots of fun, laughter, abundance in your life. Peace. Bye, guys.